It's hump day!
Hump day!
Guess what day it is?
Morning.
I appreciate the camel graphics in your forecast.
Ah, thank you. It's always good.
I always
It's a little
try to concoct a joke in my head about like storing water on a hot day, and then I never really connect the dots and get to where I want to go, and so I just kind of forget about it. But just it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the thought that counts.
I just want to point out that you got a haircut yesterday, and it looks very nice.
Looking sharp.
Yeah, no, it wasn't looking sharp. It was getting way too crazy on the sides. I got to keep it shorter like this.
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
It looks great.
Vanessa, you gotta be my police when it comes to this. You gotta let me know when I'm overdue.
Oh, I will be on top of it for you.
Yeah.
How often should a man get a haircut?
Every 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not saying you're wrong.
You don't
because
think so?
It does look fresh, like, for about a week.
At least clean
and
it
change.
up. Like, it has to be, like, maintained.
I try to be a 3-week guy, but by the end of that 3rd week, I don't feel great. I used to go a month. Not anymore.
Is a month not doable?
Nah, not really.
If you have
I got too
longer
much
hair, that's fine. But
Right.
how he has it right now,
Yeah.
like, it looks very, like,
It gets, like, puffy on the sides.
you know, maintained and put together. So I think you definitely should at least get the sides, like, just...
Yeah, I had him carve a few stars and the Nike swoosh in the back. You guys can't see it. Looking real fresh this morning. All right, so that's not what we're talking about at all. Although I'd love to do an after show about the
How
frequency
long do
of
you
men's
go
and women's
between
haircuts.
That's crazy. You guys, all of you were
Oh, wait, how long
shocked.
do you guys go?
Oh God, as long as I can literally get away
Yeah.
with. Usually my hair person will text me and be like,
Are you coming in?
You need to come in. This is getting ratty. I'm so impatient because for us, when we go, it's a 2-hour minimum.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, however you can make it last longer with cut and color. It's just, I hate sitting still that long.
It is a long time, you know. But like everything, like we get our nail. Well, I get my nails done like every 3 weeks. I get my eyebrows done every 2 weeks. And the same thing. My mom's an esthetician, and she'll see like if my eyebrows are getting scraggly, she'll be like, "Okay, it's time for you to come in." I'm like, "Thanks."
Oh, I just hate it. I hate all that stuff.
I know. All the things we have to do.
All the things
tough.
we do
Being beautiful
for
is
HD.
painful. Yeah. All right, let's talk about our topic this morning. This is actually something we brought up on Today in AZ.
We did, and people did not like it today. They just didn't. So should the government pay for childcare? The reason we're asking is because of Japan. They've started to do this. So we've been asking, would you want to see taxes raised to cover the cost of childcare? This is for parents with kids ages 3 to 5. If you're in a low income, the subsidy is gonna apply to families with infants as well. So we were saying, do you think this should come to America? Would it help families? We got more than probably close to right now 300 comments on this. A lot of people saying that they are not in favor of this. I saw some interesting ones though from a lot of moms who said because you have to choose between a job, and childcare, they ended up having to be stay-at-home mothers. And they're like, I could have used that extra income for my family instead of having to just rely on my husband's income. And it is a tough choice that a lot of families have to make.
Well,
Yeah.
childcare is so expensive, right?
Well, we
I
looked
mean,
at
I
the
hear about it
numbers
all
this
the
morning.
time.
Yeah, and I think that the average on the site that we used said it was close to around $200 a week,
A
right?
week, yes.
I mean, and
10,000.
even that is
One kid.
Yeah.
The one.
Per week, you're talking $800 a
That's
month, and I know some
average.
parents that pay more than that.
Yeah.
And that's the crappy part about this. It's like if there's one area of your life that you should never skimp on, it's like the well-being of the life that you're raising, right? And so like it puts parents in an awful spot. And you brought this up on the show, and I thought it was a really salient point that all too often parents have to choose whether they're going to work or whether they're going to stay home and take care of the kids, if for no other reason than a lot of two-income families, that second income is dedicated to childcare costs.
And it's a lot of times it doesn't seem to be worth the sacrifice because nobody wants to put their kids in childcare. Nobody says like, I can't wait to have kids so I can just throw them all in daycare. I mean, nobody says that, I would hope. But you do get to the point where you enjoy working and you like having that salary, but is it a wash or is it the childcare ends up being more expensive, especially when you're talking about 2 kids plus, that for some moms it's not worth the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And so they don't want to stay home per se, but it's just, they've been
have to.
outpaced by the cost of childcare.
So Michelin brings up the cost of taxes. And this is something that we touched on a little bit on Today in AZ this morning. And I think that people just kind of lose sight of all the government-funded like socialist programs that we have in this country. I mean, whether it's Medicare, whether it's SNAP food assistance programs, whether it's HUD, like low-income housing or housing for people with disabilities. I mean, and K through 12 education is like a government like social program. Like your kids go to public school for free until they're close to 18 years old. We had a discussion a couple weeks ago about whether further education should be something that government is funding and whether it should be cost-free or as close to free as possible for people who want to pursue a higher education. That's a whole nother debate. But what about starting it on the other end of that K to 12 spectrum? What about preschool? What about like an infant child care program that, like they're doing in Japan, as we mentioned at the top of the show, is if not free, it's at least subsidized to some degree for low-income families who can't otherwise afford it.
Right.
I mean, this is the sort of thing where I don't have kids, but I wouldn't mind my taxes going towards something like this. I mean, we pay so much in taxes for services that we never use, or at least we would use rarely. I mean, think about the potholes that are being fixed on roads you'll never drive on. I mean, part of your fee that you pay to the DMV goes towards that sort of thing. It's hopefully you never have to pay for fire or police services, right? But you do pay taxes, and they are there if you need them. This is the same sort of thing where I think that if kids were getting better childcare at an earlier age, I won't pretend to know all the research on this, but it would be my assumption that kids who are in a solid childcare environment are probably more socially in tuned at a young age. Mm-hmm. They probably learn at an accelerated rate because they have undivided attention instead of being left with a parent who's worried about getting to the next job. I mean, I don't know. I would assume that there are lots of benefits to this.
There's definitely documented benefits of early childhood education. We know it works. We know it helps retain kids in school. We know it's good for their socialization, early reading, all those things that will benefit them later in life. I think Marilyn brings up a good point. While she says, no, each person should make their choices, children are a choice, those are responsibilities, but then she also says, workers should be paid a reasonable wage so that they can have children and work too. And that's a big piece of the puzzle is making sure if you are in a minimum wage job or if you're in just a regular job that you're being underpaid for and you have to make that choice. Whether or not your kid's going to be able to be in a beneficial early childhood. And these are all what they're saying in Japan. They would have to be certified daycare. So it's not just like throwing them in a random daycare.
So Michelin's comment was that Americans just don't believe in raising taxes, and political figures run on this. This is why the healthcare system in our country is weak, but other countries do it. And other countries do it. And that's what makes me wonder, why such a thing doesn't catch on in the U.S. I wonder what the fear is. And I'm not sure that anyone has addressed that in the comments. If you're a parent who is fearful of a program like this, give me a reason that isn't just, I don't want to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Because that's the one that we see the most often. Yeah. Like Diana says, she doesn't want to pay for some other child's care. I think that that's just a really short-sighted way to address the issue, and that's what Emily says too. It's just looking for something for free from the taxpayers, but nothing is really free. I mean, we're paying for the entire structure of the society that we live in some way, shape, or form. And I think just in general, when I think about policy, something that makes the world around me a better place is something that's probably worth investing in, just as a very general basis.
Debbie's got an interesting take.
What'd she say?
She said, if parents aren't able to financially take care of their children, then don't have them. She said, I won't work and pay taxes if the U.S. government takes my money. That's crazy.
It looks like Lisa's for it. She says, absolutely. When you have small kids, you're working just to send your kids to daycare.
What we were saying earlier.
And we aren't talking only about low-income families, so everybody.
Yeah, everybody. It's expensive for everyone, whether you're making money or you're not making money. That's what I hear from my friends too, that are doing they're financially well off, and they're like, our kid to take them is so expensive. It is. Like, really so is. I've had that where I've had a few friends be like, I think we want to be a stay-home mom because it costs more money to take them to daycare than more money than we earn,
Yeah,
and it's
for
just,
sure.
So it's a hard one.
I mean, like Rachel said, though, the reason that this is thrust into any sort of discussion at all is because in most careers, like the wage scale has not kept up with inflation. And so we're at a point where only the highest of earners don't have to worry about this. Like, this is a common problem for parents because they're just not making enough money to take care of their kids the way that they feel that they should, and good for them. I mean, I think that, like I said a second ago, nobody wants to skimp on the care of the life that they're nurturing and raising. And I'm not even saying that childcare should be less expensive. The fact that it's expensive is probably a good thing because you're trusting somebody who has the right certifications and skill sets to take care of the life that you're raising when you're gone at work or whatever. If childcare was inexpensive, you'd raise an eyebrow at it. You know, it's like if you were looking for car insurance rates and one was $120 a month and one was $127 a month and one was $14 a month, you'd be like, well, what the hell is that $14 a month going to get me? You know, like I would want my childcare to be expensive, but then the question is, how do we pay for it? And hey, we'll see how it works in Japan. I'm not sure how this is going to roll out and exactly how it's going to affect the families there. But I will tell you this, when you look at education metrics across the board, Japan is way better off than the United States, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
In terms of education, the United States is somewhere like 36 countries down the list when it comes to early education systems. So if it works for them, maybe it would work for us. Let's take a quick break from this discussion. We'll get to our fresh squeezed juice. Oh, first our ICYMI, in case you missed it on Today in AZ this morning.
Another company wants in on the meatless burger craze. Courtyard by Marriott has partnered with Beyond Meat. Starting today, travelers will be able to get Beyond Meat at nearly 1,000 Courtyard hotels across North America. Courtyard will introduce 2 new menu items at its bistro bar menu, the Beyond Burger and the Beyond Meat Roasted Red Pepper Flatbread. Doesn't that already sound like a vegetarian option, though?
What is it?
The
Beyond
Meat
roasted red
pepper flat. But if you got a red pepper flatbread, would you put beef in it anyways?
I don't know.
That one kind of confused me.
I think if you add enough like delicious sounding descriptors, I'll probably eat anything.
As long as there's a side of ranch dressing.
Just throw the word beer cheese in there somewhere and just take my money.
Yeah, that sounds good. Add dairy to everything.
So the reason I bring up the beer cheese is because a friend of mine went to Arby's yesterday, and we talk about this on the show from time to time. I'm a fan of the meats.
At Chipotle and Taco Bell.
I can mess with a roast beef and cheddar. There's apparently a new sandwich that's like Oktoberfest themed that has like a beer cheese sauce.
That sounds really
It's
good.
not good for me. I know this. I know
Where
that
do
it
you
will
get this at?
Arby's.
Oh, at Arby's.
I know that it will wreak havoc on my gastrointestinal system, but I want it nonetheless.
If you
I would try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a fan of beer cheese, we're gonna talk
Beer
later.
cheese is
I
good.
featured a place that
sorry?
has got
No, we need to
killer
talk now.
beer cheese. I featured them for Everywhere A to Z.
Okay.
I mean,
Here in town?
it's in Pine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a
That
hike.
brewery.
Work for it.
It's called That Brewery.
Oh, okay. That brewery.
That
Right.
brewery.
That's easy for me to remember no matter how many pints you have.
It's insane. They taught me how to make it as part of that.
Well, she knows how to make it now.
Oh my
Let's
gosh.
just make it at your house and not go to Pine.
It's so good. No, there's something magical in that kitchen.
Really?
I know a lot of our viewers, especially for the after show, are scattered across the country. We actually have a few people in other countries that watch the show every single day. I'm from Michigan originally, and there's a brewery there called Founders on the west side of the state that makes a beer cheese that is probably the best food I've ever eaten.
I don't know if I've ever had beer cheese.
I mean, it's like fondue cheese,
Yeah.
but like
It just has like a.
it's not even like the alcohol cooks off like it does anytime you use alcohol in cooking.
Very
but
faint
it's
flavor, but you
Yeah,
know
no,
it's
it's
there.
something.
It's
Oh.
glorious.
Okay, I'll have to try it. Well, just like rum cake, right?
Guys
You
are
can still
getting
taste the
hungry.
rum.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Even though it bakes out of there, I think.
Maybe. All right,
Yeah.
let's get to some fresh squeezed juice, shall we? I guess I should roll the prompter probably.
Yeah, let's take a look.
All right, Vanessa, what do we got?
All right, wedding season is here in the Valley, and we're talking about wedding dress codes. People online are calling Kylie, is that supposed to be Jenner?
Yeah.
Oh, calling Kylie Jenner for wearing this dress to, I think it's supposed to be Kylie Jenner, for wearing this dress to Justin and Hailey's wedding. Many accusing her of being too sexy for the wedding. What do you guys think?
Yeah, what is this, like a Roman Empire party or something like that? You're wearing that to a wedding?
It's a celebrity
wedding. Yeah, everybody's there to be seen.
You better
And there's gonna
bring
be
it.
lots of photo ops.
Yeah.
However, you're not supposed to outstage the bride.
Yeah, that's
So
like
she's
rule number
showing
one.
Her
Or
boobies.
what? Or what?
Her bosoms. So I think that part should definitely be covered up
Yeah.
because you don't want to, you don't want everybody looking at you. Everybody's supposed to be looking at the bride.
Oh, no, that's a dress
Oh, I
that
got the
says,
tight
everyone look at
shot.
me.
Yeah. That's a lot of love.
Yeah, so in that part, I think, yes, for sure, you should cover it up at somebody else's wedding. I mean, you can be cute and stylish and, obviously make a statement, but not that kind
Looks
of
like
statement.
it for an award show. I mean, you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
definitely still,
For sure.
step it up for celebrity status look, but
What are we asking?
That's
Should
not
there be
wedding.
a wedding
Dress code. Yes.
Yes.
Because the bride has to stand out before.
What would be the male equivalent of this? Like, what could I wear to a wedding that you would be like, whoa, that's inappropriate?
Like when you see them go into the award show and they're like in some sort of crazy,
Yeah, something that would stand out too much, cause attention.
Crazy colors.
Like some peacock feathers out the back or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like a tux that's got like a paisley purple tone to it or something. I would never wear that to a wedding.
Or shirtless.
Right, yeah, that would draw attention away from the bride and groom in all the worst ways.
Isn't that wild, though, that they had their wedding on a Monday?
Well, they're celebrities. The days of the week don't really pertain to them. They're not working 9 to 5s. Monday is just another day.
Because they are celebrities, they have too many things going on the weekend. So they're like, oh, there's too many parties or award shows or events.
Yeah, and I guess getting all their high-profile friends there. Maybe a Monday is a day of rest for a celebrity. Is that how it works?
Must be nice.
I don't know. Weddings, I feel like, are such a slippery slope because it's like, oh gosh, I remember it's just a lot of people asking what they should wear. If your mother-in-law doesn't want to wear this, your sister-in-law doesn't want to wear this. There's just like a lot of like opinions.
Remember that story about the girl who wore a T-Rex costume to her sister's wedding?
That was great.
If you missed this on the show a few weeks ago,
loved it.
She did.
This instance.
She
thought it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, basically the girl that was getting married said, "You can wear whatever you want."
I know.
You're my maid of honor. You can do whatever you want. To her sister. Her sister wore a T-Rex costume.
If I could tell my 15 years ago self, I would say, "Who cares? You want to wear something and look crazy at my wedding? Go knock yourself out. You just won't be in our pictures." Instead of, I would get so upset and be like, well, why should you want to wear this? And it would like really bother me. And I'm like, you know what? It really literally does not matter. I wish I could just tell myself, just enjoy it.
Yeah, and enjoy it.
Who cares? If they want to look crazy, it's not on me, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
I do love the weddings where, like the weddings that I've been in and I've been the bridesmaids, where they let you wear any style dress you want, but just all the same color. Mm-hmm. That's great because everybody has a different style, right? Yes. So that you're not all matched because some people didn't like the top.
Well, you want them to look good and feel good, right? I mean, nobody wants to be stuck in something that makes them feel uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
Like I shouldn't have to suffer.
A $350 potato sack as a bridesmaid to one wedding. My husband was like, this is literally the one dress on the planet that makes you look like you have zero curves. They're just like this big blob.
No.
Yeah, it was awful. And plus, it was so expensive.
Yeah. And when are you going to wear that again?
Oh my God, I think I left it at the hotel.
Wow.
Like in a
old move.
It's like, I'm not wearing this ever again.
Like that thing was so flammable. I was a bridesmaid 6 times before I got married. So I had a lot. And then I had friends who were getting married the second time. And I'm like, no, honey, I already paid for the bachelorette party. I got the shower gift. I did the thing. And I bought the plane tickets. No, I think I'm going to pass on this one. But I'll be there for the third, maybe.
On the third one. That is crazy, right? That's so true.
It is so true, especially in Texas. We get married. What was it? The lady who did my fitting was like, you get married early and often down in the South. Like, okay.
I have a closet full of bridesmaids dresses too.
Do you have any that you would ever want to wear again, though?
No.
You saved them?
I did save them because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I guess I could donate them at this point because none of them even fit me.
I have donated some that were not hideous to these like prom projects and stuff. Yeah.
Maybe I should do that because I know they don't fit me anymore.
I wore multiple times because it was black and it was from Ann Taylor and it was like a normal dress.
Oh,
yeah.
It was just like a regular dress. Thank you for that. And it was on sale.
For those ladies watching, do you guys keep your bridesmaids dresses or any dresses like that, or do you guys get rid of them right away?
Burn them.
Or I was just going to say, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen someone wear at a wedding? And we got like 3 or 4 minutes left in the show if you want to chime in. Let's get to a couple more comments real quick about the childcare discussion. So Mona said, I paid for childcare, but my husband and I both had to work full time in order to afford the daycare cost. He also made more than minimum wage, but if someone makes minimum wage, it can be tough to pay for daycare. Yeah. And I think that's exactly the point that we're trying to get to, Mona. I don't think anyone's saying that these parents are lazy or they want handouts or whatever.
They are trying to work.
It's always that cost-benefit analysis of how much do I need to make in order to give my kid the upbringing that I want them to have. And for far too many parents in this country, the numbers just don't add up.
Right.
Childcare is not reflective of the cost of living right now. Lois disagrees, says, why should people who have no children have to pay for someone who's too lazy to pay for their own? I worked 3 jobs to put a roof over my children's head and food in their bellies, clothes on their back, and a good Christian education. Again, I don't think we're talking about anyone being lazy. And also, it's kind of insulting to insinuate that like someone without kids shouldn't have to pay taxes for things they don't use. It's not really how taxes work.
Right.
Hopefully you never have to go to the hospital, but your tax dollars are there in case you have to. It's kind of the discussion that we had earlier that you can't just pick and choose which social benefits that, well, I'm not going to be able to take my Social Security money because the money's going to be gone by the time I'm old enough, but I'm still paying into it. It's sorry, man, that's kind of the way things work.
But I'm wondering, wouldn't you, let's say just hypothetically, you've already raised your kids. Looking back, would you not say, I would maybe, man, it would be nice if I had maybe only had to work the 2 jobs.
Well, right, that's another side of this discussion too.
Because maybe the childcare made it affordable for me to not have to work that 3rd job. You know, nobody's questioning work ethic for sure. I think that's part of the discussion. But yeah, wouldn't it be nice to only taking the 2 jobs?
And I guess that's my question to you, Lois, is that, I mean, obviously you sacrificed a great deal to put your kids through school. Would you want every parent to have to make the sacrifices that you made, or wouldn't you want things to be a little easier for the next generation of parents? I think that's something that every generation strives to do, is make things easier and simpler and more cost effective than the previous generation.
Because I definitely think me being in the workforce makes me a better parent. I feel like it makes me a better wife. I feel like it makes me a better whole person, rather than being at home. For me, it was not healthy for me to be at home all day by myself. I needed interaction with adults. So I feel like it makes you a better, I felt like it made me a better whole person. So I'm wondering if you could have that help that could let you go out there, do what you want to do, find your passions, whatever it is, you know, wouldn't that be nice? Just a little nice?
Yeah. Us two over here, we're all quiet. We're just going to read other people's comments.
Yes.
All right, we'll read them tomorrow. Show's over, guys. We'll see you back here at 7:30 for the after show on a Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday, yay!
Whoop, whoop.
All day.
You're just stretching.
No, it's Thursday. Because all day we thought yesterday was Wednesday.
Did you
yeah.
Totally.
Not me, man.
I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. I even text my mom. I'm like, you home from work? She goes, what? I'm home. She doesn't work on Tuesdays.
We're ready for it.
Get out there. Go work, Mom.
We're ready.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.